This is Breaking Barriers with Bruce Marks. When you heard about a mortgage that is no down payment, no closing costs, no fees, at a below market fixed rate, without consideration of your credit score, your first response should be, we assume it was, sounds too good to be true, what's the scam? But that's what the NACA mortgage is. It's no down payment, no closing costs, no fees, no mortgage insurance at a below market fixed rate, and we don't consider your credit score. And we have over $20 billion of this one mortgage product, $15 billion from Bank of America. And we are the only organization in the country that can say it's the best mortgage in America, because we're regulated in all 50 states. So the regulators look at our materials and they say, hey, best mortgage in America? How can this organization say it? And then we push back and we say, do your homework, check it out. And then they always come back and they say, NACA is the only organization that can say it has the best mortgage in America. But let's dig into this mortgage. So when you talk about breaking barriers, let's talk about those barriers. So people work hard, really hard, sometimes 2 or 3 jobs, often 2 or 3 jobs, but it's tough to save. That's a huge barrier. The NACA solution, no down payment and no closing costs. Now, people are in the mortgage process. And they say, how do I qualify for the mortgage? Well, the barrier is the lenders look at 3 things. They look at your credit score, they look at your debt to income ratio, and they look at your loan to value. Those 3 things. And they put it into a mix. They do an algorithm with that, and they say, here's the interest rate and whether you qualify or not. So we break down that barrier where we say, don't let those 3 numbers in a credit score define who you are, because it doesn't or shouldn't. So let's do character-based lending and do underwriting that's based on people's individual circumstances. So for example, if I have late payments that is because of a medical debt, that's not a reflection of whether I'm ready for home ownership. That just says that we have a dysfunctional, unaffordable healthcare system. Also, if I have late payments that have brought down my credit score, which were 2 or 3 years old, that's not a reflection of where I am today and whether I'm ready for home ownership. So NACA does character-based lending, looking at people's individual circumstances, eliminates late payments that they were exceptional circumstances, basically out of the control of you, the home buyer, and saying, focusing on the last 12 months. And so that's character-based lending. So it's overcoming the roadblock to getting approved, qualified and approved for a mortgage. Number 3, unaffordable terms. Well, we break down that barrier because we have one fixed interest rate that everybody gets. So everybody who's a low or moderate income person or purchasing in a low to moderate income area get this unbelievably low interest rate, probably the lowest interest rate in the country. But if you were to go to a bank and you say at Wells Fargo or Chase or any of these banks, or any lender out there says, what is the interest rate I can get? They won't tell you. What they'll say to you is put in your information and we'll tell you what the interest rate will be. And then when you ask them, well, how are you going to determine that? What are you going to use? And then they'll say to you, trust us. Well, how can we trust them? We know that they've engaged in predatory, discriminatory lending practices. So with NACA, it's transparent. You always know what that interest rate is going to be. Yes, it changes maybe every day because rates go up and down, but it's always at a below market. And you go to our website, NACA.com, and you know what that interest rate's going to be. Because everybody, if you're qualified, if you're ready for home ownership, you deserve that same unbelievably affordable and low interest rate. Number 4, the barrier of racism and biases. So when you're NACA qualified, that means that you become a very desirable customer for the real estate agents, lenders, and sellers, because 99% of the applications that we submit to the lenders are approved. So that allows you as a home buyer to compete with the cash sellers out there. So when you think about the NACA mortgage, it really is breaking down those barriers and reinventing mortgage lending, because the barrier of a lack of savings for a down payment and closing costs, eliminate that. Restrictive underwriting, eliminate that. Unaffordable terms, eliminate that. Racism and biases, eliminate that. And because NACA is also a aggressive advocacy organization, when we find those impediments, those barriers, we break them down. Because one of the unique things about NACA is that we're respected for our operations and feared for our advocacy. And that advocacy is not just on the broader level, taking on these big players out there, and we've beaten them all, but it's also on the individuals to take on those barriers that when it affects an individual's opportunity to be a homeowner on affordable terms, because it's personal. It's personal when someone is denied the opportunity for them and their family to be a homeowner, to control their home, not be subject to a landlord whose only interest is to maximize his or her profits or that corporation's profits. That's what we do. We break down the barriers to affordable home ownership. So as good as that NACA mortgage sounds, it's even better. You can use it to do a purchase rehab. So you have funds after you close to do the renovation. You can buy a 1 to 4 family unit, so you can have rental income coming in as long as you live in that property. Section 8, someone with a Section 8 housing choice voucher can use the NACA mortgage and can own that house free and clear in less than 20 years. So as good as it sounds, it's even better. But this did not come because we're just nice people or we're doing the right thing. So yes, there might be the righteousness of the mission, but there's also state-of-the-art operations, and there's also the advocacy where we don't take no for an answer. So take advantage of the NACA mortgage. We broke down those barriers, and they're open for you to just come right through that whole process and become a homeowner on the best terms in America. Thank you, everybody, for listening for another broadcast of Breaking Down Barriers with Bruce Marks. Have a good one.